Right, hey guys, how we doing? Back another video from Ham on Beat, and it looks like he's gone back and redoing the music references in JoJo parts. I had a quick check on the channel, and yeah, this is like him doing a more in-depth look into all the actual music references rather than just playing the track and then being that's what it is. Because I remember the first part being only like 3 minutes first time we checked this out, and it's like 10, so yeah, going back and doing the rest. So I thought, as it's going up, we'll check it out. This will be fun. Love me some JoJo's content, you know that. So let's get into it. Ham on beat! Oh yeah.
If you're a fan of JoJo, you're almost definitely aware of the fact that the series is full of references to music.
Oh yeah.
The names of a huge amount of characters, stands, and more are directly based on famous songs, albums, bands, or musicians. JoJo contains a lot of allusions to Araki's personal taste in the form of music he references.
From the West.
In the past,
yeah,
I've made a
mainly,
series of videos listing out each of these references,
Alright, so he's addressing this as well. Cool. So yeah.
accompanied by their songs. However, over the years, due to copyright, these videos have been
1 minute
repeatedly
51.
shortened and re-uploaded, making them far less enjoyable to watch. Another problem I ran into was the fact that some of these references aren't entirely obvious, and may require some additional explanation. So what I'd like to do now is go back to my roots a bit, and now go fully in-depth on these references in this new format.
Awesome.
This way, I think I can let a lot more people know about the lesser-known references in the series, as well as pointing out the sources to these references if there are any.
Cool.
So let's start with the very first part of the series, Phantom Blood.
Let's do it.
The first thing to go over is actually something that's not a reference. One of the most common misconceptions when it comes to this topic is people saying that Jonathan Joestar, as well as the nickname JoJo, is based on a lyric from the song Get Back by the Beatles.
Oh.
I believed this myself for a time, since Get Back is actually referenced later on in Part 3.
Right.
However, we've learned from interviews with Araki that Jonathan's name was created when Araki wanted to use alliteration similar to the name of American director Steven Spielberg.
Oh,
He
so
says
like
that he wasn't referencing
SSJJ.
anything in particular when he chose Jonathan as the name, so it seems like there was never any connection here to the song.
Okay, I know.
Most likely,
Right.
Araki noticed this connection after the fact and then included the song in Part 3 as a nod to it. The first real and most obvious music reference in Phantom Blood would of course be with its main villain, Dio. His name is based on the famous heavy metal singer Ronnie James Dio. While in my opinion this connection is extremely obvious, I have still seen a lot of people over the years say that Araki actually based Dio's name on the Italian word for God.
What?
And that the music reference is just a coincidence.
No.
To support this, they
As
point
if.
out the JoJonium Volume 3 interview where Araki mentions this connection. Of course, it has actually been confirmed on 2 separate occasions that
I didn't. That's blowing my head. So there were people that were just like, no, that's not what it is.
the name was made to reference Ronnie James Dio. The first source is the re-release of the manga volumes in the form of Shueisha Jump Remix. These were a line of volumes that re-released the manga after its initial run, which also included special features. The reason I'm saying this is because you'll be seeing it a lot in this series, since it confirms many different references from the first 4 parts.
Cool.
In its 9th volume for Part 3, it directly states this as a music reference. Our other source is an interview with Araki from 2006 for the Phantom Blood PS2 game, where he directly states that he used both the Italian word for God and the singer as inspiration for the name. Next is Jonathan's dog Danny. His name may be based on Danny's Song by Loggins and Messina. While this is unconfirmed, I think it's pretty likely due to the fact that Araki has referenced this band multiple times, and that Danny is kind of a weird name to just randomly choose for a dog.
Yeah.
One of the more contested references would be that Ariana Pendleton's first name is based on the song Eleanor Rigby by the Beatles. This seems nonsensical until we actually take a closer look at the names. Arina isn't an English name, but rather a Japanese one. And if we compare Arina to Eleanor in Japanese, they're actually very similar, making this make a lot more sense.
Cool.
Very recently, though, we actually got some official confirmation for this reference. The JoJo Globetrotter Travel Guidebook is an official travel guide for locations featured in JoJo. In its section on England, it says that Erina's name is in fact based on Eleanor Rigby.
Nice.
Other official JoJo media has also acknowledged this connection, such as the Diamond Records mobile game, which lists Erina as Eleanor in the files. The 8th chapter, titled The Battle on Ogre Street, may be a reference to the song Ogre Battle by Queen, a band which Araki is shown to be a huge fan of. Robert E.O. Speedwagon's name is based on the American rock band REO Speedwagon, taking the initials of REO and expanding it into his name. This reference was officially confirmed in Shueisha Jump Remix's first volume for Battle Tendency. The character Wang Chan is likely based on the English band Wang Chung. The last name of Will Zeppeli, and by extension all of the Zeppeli characters in the series, is based on the band Led Zeppelin.
There you go.
While I would think this is pretty obvious to most people, I've actually got...
Please don't. Please don't. Please don't tell me there are people out there who are like, no it's not.
Tons of comments claiming it actually isn't a reference. Despite this, however, Araki mentioned this directly in his JoJonium Volume 2 interview. He said that he regretted using Led Zeppelin's name as a reference right away, since he considers it one of the best bands. Poco is most likely named after the American band Poco. Araki had actually made another reference to the band before JoJo. In his very first published one-shot, Poker Under Arms, the name Poco can be seen written on a bottle of booze on the poker table.
Cool.
You could also look at this as the first ever music reference that Araki has made in manga.
Whoa.
Tarkus's name is based on the song and album of the same name by Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Cool.
Bruford is named after Bill Bruford, the former drummer for Yes and King Crimson, both of which have been referenced in JoJo extensively.
You see, learning more stuff. This is cool.
Bruford's Danse Macabre hair technique is likely based on the French classical music piece Danse Macabre, written in 1874.
Whoa.
The character Tom Petty is most likely based on the American musician Tom Petty, who Araki has referenced more than once. Dyer and Strazo's names can be
from the band Dire Straits
combined to form the name of the British rock band Dire Straits.
Yep, one of my dad's favourite bands of all time. And I didn't notice, and I remember saying to my dad, oh my god, I watched this show, it's got loads of musical references, and it took me ages until someone pointed out there was a character called Dire, character called Straits.
Both of these references were confirmed in the Shueisha Jump remix for Battle Tendency. The minor zombie character, known only as Adams, may be based on the Canadian singer Bryan Adams, who had become very popular around that time. Doobie's name is most likely a reference to the band the Doobie Brothers. The four zombies, Page, Jones, Plant, and Bonham, are named after Jimmy Page, John Paul Jones, Robert Plant, and John Bonham, the four members of Led Zeppelin.
Right.
Only in the manga, there is a newspaper excerpt shown after Dio's defeat at Midnight's Lot. In it, a farmer named Jeff Beck is said to have spotted the characters outside the mansion. He's named after the English guitarist Jeff Beck, another who Araki would go on to reference many times. We can also see a fisherman named Dan Hammer, who mentions his boat being stolen. This may be a reference to the musician Jan Hammer, known for his famous scores like the theme of Miami Vice, and for collaborating with various musicians of the time.
Nice.
In fact, he played together with Jeff Beck on Beck's Wired album, which Araki specifically references later in Part 2. While sometimes the final reference of the part can be an interesting one that ties everything together, that isn't the case here. The last music reference name for Phantom Blood is actually the priest character Father Styx. He's most likely named after the American rock band Styx. While that may be everything for Phantom Blood, the future parts of JoJo have gotten longer, and as such, the list of references grew by quite a lot. I'm very excited to be able to continue this series. I aim to cover each part and finally go fully in depth on their long list of references.
Right, that's sick. It's cool. I'm looking forward to checking these out as well. I'm very excited.
I'd also like to focus on the spin-off content of JoJo, which has given us many new references just in the past couple years.
Okay.
Hopefully you're looking forward to the new parts of this series as much as I am. In the meantime, I'd hope that you subscribe and click the bell for any notifications about my videos in the future. You can also join the Hum and Beat Discord, where you can be updated as soon as new videos or important JoJo news releases. Finally, I'd love if you supported the channel on Patreon. There you can receive Discord perks, as well as the opportunity to submit questions. Questions can be submitted at any tier in my Patreon page's Member Posts tab. Your questions may be featured at the end of a future video and later compiled into a full Q&A video. I love answering these questions, so I hope you submit as many as you like. Thank you for watching. This is the part of the video where I...
Cool, very cool. I like that he's doing this, so, because I remember, oh gosh, a couple of years ago, I did all the JoJo music references, and it literally was like the song and then that was it, and no real explanation as to who or what. But yeah, that was class, and I'll be checking the rest out as we continue. But yeah, thank you to. Well, actually, sorry, I was getting a phone call then, and it's distracted me. But make sure you check out my Etsy shop. Link is in the description for t-shirts and hoodies that I've designed. And thank you to my patrons. If you want to have your name at the end of every video upload, link in the description of the Patreon page. $1 more for our support channel. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you for that. Thank you all for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click a like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Let me know if you watch good some future videos. See you guys all next time.